Roma went into the garage to get popsicles, only to be accosted, ever so discreetly, by Suzanne Sheridan. "You know, Roma, if you step through the right door here, plenty more will open up for you. But if you step through the wrong one, every door in town will slam in your face." Roma pushed her aside, not quite as discreetly, and rummaged through the freezer. "I'll have to remember that." Suzanne Sheridan smiled and gestured toward Marla's house. "Young, handsome men, always attracted to trash." Roma, cheeks blazing despite the cold air inside the freezer, replied without bothering to look the bitch in the eye. "Actually, Suzanne, I don't think you're his type." Suzanne stalked away, bellowing at her husband to take her home. Roma chuckled. She'd made an enemy for life, and she was just fine with that. Friends like Marla Benton were rare. Friends like Suzanne Sheridan could be found on every residents' association, PTA board, and tennis club committee in the free world, espousing their particular brand of social wisdom like medieval royalty. Whatever demons Marla had run away from were behind her now. Kyle would always be safe with her. Suzanne was still ordering her husband to take her home a half hour later. "I said I'm having a beer, Suze. Take the keys and I'll see you later." "I was insulted." "And what did you say to deserve it?" "It's always my fault, isn't it? How about sticking up for me for a change? How about keeping your trap zipped for a change so I won't have to?" Suzanne would tolerate not a moment's more dissension. "Trina, Troy, get in the car, now!" Troy Sheridan was sitting on the other side of the Nelsons' yard, his arm hanging out of a hole in the fence so as to hide the cigarette he was holding. He flicked the half-burned-down filter tip out into the laneway, pulled his arm out of the hole, and screamed when he realized his hand was no longer attached to it. The gate flew open, and the white axe that had severed his hand took his head too. Roma, who was handing out popsicles to the littler kids, turned in the direction of Suzanne Sheridan screaming and was just about ready to march over and slap her one when she got her first view of the gate crashes. There were 6 of them. That was the first thing Roma noticed. The second thing she noticed were their clothes. White leather trench coats, white leather pants, and white leather boots, accessorized with white motorcycle helmets with black visors that made them look like high-toned motocross racers. Even their weapons were white, and the entire glowing aesthetic made them look more frightening than if they'd just gone with classic head-to-toe villain black. Bill, rushing to collect the hollow log that had been his son, was taken down quickly and quietly by a shot to the head from the biggest pistol Roma, a gun collector's daughter, had ever seen. Suzanne, leaving little Trina to her own devices, rushed to collect her husband and was likewise dispatched with a shot to the ear. Roma grabbed as many kids as she could and dragged them into the garage, depositing them behind the freezer and under the car while their parents and friends ran blindly for cover like ants. In the minute or so it took to do this, the screaming and scurrying stopped, and Roma whispered to the little ones hiding either side of her to be quiet and lie flat before she crawled sideways out of her sanctuary to look out into the yard from beyond the garage door. The intruders walked from person to person, picking up the bodies and inspecting them, then slashing crosses into the faces before unceremoniously dropping them. The bodies they seemed especially interested in were the females, and the way they studied each face told Roma they were looking for someone in particular. Someone around Marla's age. Roma was nowhere close, but she could still provide a distraction. She took her cell phone out of her pocket and addressed the kids. "Whatever happens, don't make a sound." She dialed 911. "Police, please." She tucked the phone back into her pocket and walked out into the yard. Guys, I think you're looking for me.